The best people to help others are those that have been through their own troubles, and holy shit, man, I've been through a lot of troubles.
Welcome to the Humourology Podcast with me, Paul Boross. This is part 2 of our fascinating and funny discussion with Iain Lee. You will love it. Please remember to like, subscribe and leave a review wherever you get your podcasts.
My boys have both got brilliant senses of humour. They're slightly different in that respect. I have been able, partly through my radio career and now in the counselling thing, to illustrate that, first of all, it's okay to talk about stuff. They're 11 and 13, and the schools are so much better on this stuff now than they were. The mental health, the mindfulness, the talking, they're so much better. But I'm able to show them that that talking is great, that humour is great. That I've shown them some of the things that I've done in the past, and they find them hilarious, and they're interested in this change of career. I think that's an important lesson I've taught them. It's okay to at some point go, do you know what? I'm not enjoying this anymore. I want to do something else and to try. Talking about the failure, I have completely changed career. I've quit showbiz, with a few exceptions. If Strictly came on the line, of course I'd go and do that, But I did my last ever radio show a couple of weeks ago. And it was beautiful, and I was in tears, and it was great. And I have made the commitment to go full time as a counsellor, private practice. Man, that is a huge leap of faith. There's a real chance that could go wrong. I might not get any clients. I might not be any good. All of these things, this risk taking, and this is probably the biggest risk I've taken in my life, completely switching careers. And I'm able to share that journey with my boys. Who's still a little bit, why have you quit showbiz? That looks like so much fun. Well, it's not the greatest bit of fun. So I am showing them it is okay to, Brené Brown again, dare greatly, to take risks, to push yourself, to follow your dreams to a certain extent. But in terms of humor, geez, my boys, they make me laugh so much. They make me laugh so much, and we have such wonderful moments. Or just in tears sometimes, laugh. One of us will do something stupid and the other two, we're gone. It's wonderful.
Well, yeah, and that laughter with children is, isn't the statistic that children laugh between 300 and 400 times a day, and adults laugh 17.3 times a day.
It sounds about. Do you remember that? Do you remember being like a 9, 10, 12-year-old boy, laughing until it hurt? Like and you're begging the person to stop. I can't remember the last time I missed that. I miss being 13-year-old, being around my friend's house and in pain because I'm bent over laughing so much.
I think that find people who can do that with you. We have a thing called GBC, which is ironically Great Blokes Club. It's meant to be ironic, by the way. And we go on every second Monday. We go and we just drink 3 pints and we laugh our socks off, and we know exactly. And it's kind of like an appointment to laugh.
Yeah.
And it's with 2 very, very funny people, and just sharing that moment. And we all know what we're there for, but we never discuss it.
Yeah.
It's like, we're not, right, okay, have we got the agenda for what's going to happen? No, we just know that we will press each other's triggers and you will come out there with a release. So it's like going for a laughter massage.
Yeah.
Where you just go, oh, God, I needed that.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think one of the things that people don't do enough is make appointments to laugh. Well, tell me about that.
It's not seen as important because you got to pay your bills. You got to go to work. You got to feed the kids. You got to take the dog to the vets. Grandma's not very well. So it is not seen, I think, for a lot of people as a priority. Maybe it's seen as a luxury. And you think, well, I've got to go and pay 50 quid to go and see Frankie Boyle. I've got to pay 100 quid to go and see whatever. And you're right, laughing with our peers, with those people that we love and that love us, is just, it's just magic. And you're right. If you can find some people that know what buttons to push to get you helpless with laughter, stick with those people. You know, I have got to say, my kids, oh my God, they make me laugh so much. My partner knows exactly. You know, we were texting each other last night. She said, I don't live with her. We were texting, and even her texts were just making me piss myself. You know, we were watching The Apprentice, texting each other about The Apprentice, and I was totally done in by a couple of things that she said. And I have a couple of friends who I don't see as often as I would like to, actually, because they live in Bristol. But they make me laugh. And you're right. If it is, it's wonderful, right? What a gift. What a gift.
Well, I think, you know, for anybody listening to this, but also for us to remember, start to diarize those things, because we can very easily drift in life and just go, oh, I'll catch up with my friends in Bristol at some stage and everything.
Yeah.
But by diarising it and going, look, we need to do this 4 times a year.
Yeah.
And everything. What's the best day? And those kind of things, anchoring us into those states, which to say, I have a thing where my son's now 21, he's at drama school. We'll go back to talking about you at drama school as well. But we go and see our local football team, AFC Wimbledon, who are generally rubbish. But the guys who sit behind us are hilarious.
Right.
Yeah. And we all bond, and then we'll scream comedy abuse at the linesman, you know, and we will just release. It's kind of like it's therapy.
Yeah.
In some sense, it's, you know, it's maybe primal scream therapy, but it still is. But that bonding thing of being able to do something together and then laugh at it and talk about it. Did you see how badly we played? You know, we lost 3-1. Yeah. 3 of the goals were back passes. You know, it's that level. And that's why I think finding things that you can do on regular basis with people.
You're right, actually. And I've been, these friends I'm talking about in Bristol, I've been meaning for ages to book in a weekend. We want to have a bad movie night. We want to watch Death Race 2000. We want to watch some Steven Seagal. We want to watch some, Jason Statham. This is another thing, my boy. So Jason Statham, the action movie star. For some reason, my kids call him Nicholas Boye. That's why I couldn't remember his name. I don't know where Nicholas Boye comes from, but so I always think of Nicholas Boye. It's just, and for me, little in jokes with my boys, with my friends, shorthand, not even in jokes, shorthand. Yeah. They can say Nicholas Boye and I'm gone because they mean Jason Statham. They know exactly who they mean. My youngest, whenever he ends a phone call, he always goes, "Chowsy, chow chows." So I've now started saying "chowsy, chow chows" to people. Absolute meaningless, absolute nonsense, but it makes me smile and it makes my heart feel warm. And having people around you where you have a shorthand, you don't even have to say the full sentence. You can just say 2 words. They get it. Boom, they're gone. Love it.
Well, that's what I would call a comedy anchor.
Yeah,
isn't it? So you're anchored into that. As soon as you hear those words, "chowsy, chow chow."
Yeah.
You go.
So it's so funny hearing another adult say it. I've never heard another adult say "chowsy, chow chow." I will tell Kim later on; he'll be thrilled.
We're going to introduce it on the Humourology Podcast.
Do it, "chowsy, chow chow."
And there's some gummy bears for every time we use it.
Beautiful, yeah.
So what makes you laugh, Iain?
What makes me laugh? All right, let's talk about some of the I've just restarted watching on Netflix a TV series called Community, right? It's probably about 10 years old now. It's this really slightly meta American sitcom, and I'd forgotten how much I love it. So I've started watching that. So that's bringing me a lot of joy. Like I've said, kids and my partner, nothing makes me laugh as hard as they do. You know, I'm a big fan. I tell you what, we were talking before we were recording about Clive Bull, a friend of yours, was a radio presenter. I genuinely think is perhaps the best radio presenter we've ever had in Britain. Anyway,
agreed.
And if ever, every 8 months, a year, I remember that Peter Cook used to phone Clive Bull up at 2:00 in the morning as Sven, the Norwegian fisherman.
Sweden.
Sven from Sweden. Of course, that makes much more sense, doesn't it? And every 8 months, a year, I go, oh, I need to listen to Sven. And I go on YouTube. They're all on YouTube, dear listener. If you've not heard them, Sven from Sweden, Sven from Swiss Cottage. That was where he was from, Swiss Cottage. There we go. Go Sven, Peter Cook, Clive Bull. Go and look it up on YouTube. I've heard those, I don't know, 20, 30 times. They still make me howl with laughter. They're so gentle. They're so subtle. Peter Cook is, he's in a very dark place when he's doing it, but he's so effortless. Clive Bull is just the perfect foil. I think from the second one, he knows it's Peter Cook. I don't think he did for the first one. And he's just the perfect foil, just asking these questions and stuff like that makes me laugh so much, and that's one of the few things I can keep going back to and just marveling at the beauty of it. I like I like phone-in radio, and I like it when people swear, because you're not supposed to. And if you're phoning up BBC local radio, they don't have a delay system. They don't have a dump button. Oh. It goes out live. And every now and then you'll hear someone phoning up and going, oh, fucking hell. And then they get cut off. But I'll be careful how I phrase this. There's a wonderful, radio makes me laugh a lot. And there's a wonderful clip of Nicky Campbell doing the breakfast show on 5 Live. This is a few years ago. And he introduces, let me be careful, the West Kent Hunt. Have you heard that clip, Paul?
Yes.
He introduces the West Kent Hunt. Now, you can guess, dear listener, how he messes that up. It's on YouTube. It's great. And he messes it up, and then he apologizes. An hour later, he does exactly the same thing again. He goes, well, people will still be talking about and he does the same thing again. And stuff like that, that makes me laugh. That makes me laugh. Oh. And he's a nice guy, Nicky Campbell, and I'm a big, big fan of his. I think he's such a lovely man, been very generous to me. That clip, though, I'm sure he'd rather forget it, but it does me in.
Yeah, he's a great broadcaster.
He's brilliant.
As well, isn't he? I mean, considering where he's came through every level of broadcasting, from being the disc jockey.
He was a radio on disc jockey. People forget that.
Yeah. Okay, and he was brilliant at that as well. Is everyone funny?
Oh, Paul, there's a philosophical question.
Huh?
Can I come back in a month when I've researched it? Is everyone funny? I think everyone has the capacity to be funny. I think everyone has the capacity to laugh at stuff, but not everyone can. And I'm treading really carefully, because I don't want to imply that it's necessarily a choice. I think some people have had such tragedy in their lives that they are unable to see humor in some things. I do think for some people that has been dulled so much by trauma or some past experience that maybe that has been dulled. That's a heavy question, Paul. I do not have an answer.
All right. Okay. Well, I'll turn the question round.
Go on.
Why do people fail to be funny, do you think?
I think trying too hard, I think, is a thing. I have got to do this and I will be funny. For me, real humor is really relaxed and is really kind of natural and seemingly spontaneous, even if it's not. I think some people try to be funny to make up for, insecurities in their own life. They want to be liked. They want to be loved. But also humor is a really personal thing. We talked about Frankie Boyle alienating half of the audience. Some people think he's the devil incarnate, but doesn't mean they're not funny people. Doesn't mean they don't laugh at some stuff. It's all subjective, isn't it? Humor. That's the thing there. I wonder if there is one universal gag that everyone would laugh at. The search for the Holy Grail. Maybe it is people falling over. I don't know.
I think it's people falling over on the ice, actually.
I think it might be.
Mentioned earlier.
That might be I was going to say funny cat videos, but some people don't like cats, which I just do not understand that. What is these people that don't like cats?
Have 2 cats.
Mate, have 5.
Have you really?
I'm a 50-year-old man living on his own with 5 cats. It's not a great look, Paul. It's not a great look, I tell you.
Psychiatrists and the listenership will have a field day with that one.
I know. I feel embarrassed saying it out loud. There's a chance a sixth might be moving in. No, a sixth isn't going to move in. I'm going to be strong.
Going on that same premise, not the cat premise, but the can humour be taught? Because everybody, I think, because if you actually look at anybody's dating profile, they always say great sense of humour.
Yeah.
From a psychological perspective, are people delusional and think that they have a great sense of humour?
Yeah, everyone thinks that their sense of humour is great. It's when they say good sense of humour in a dating thing. What they mean is someone who laughs at the same things I laugh at. That's what that is, isn't it? Because I think most people think they have. Can humour be taught? I don't know. I think you can be taught the basics of doing stand-up. That's how I got into it. I was taught at college by a great man. He is a great man. I think he's like Hugh Thomas, who...
Oh, he used to run the King's Head downstairs.
Crouch End. You know him, right?
Yeah. Well, I used to play the gig. Yeah, I know Hugh Thomas.
There you go. Yeah. So Hugh Thomas was one of the lecturers on my performing arts degree that I did. And he taught stand-up comedy module. And he is great. I don't know why he's not more famous, because he was a real instigator in what we would have called the alternative comedy scene back in the day. And he has given so many people their breaks and helped people. Anyway, you're right. He used to run this club in Crouch End downstairs at the King Head, along with Peter. Somebody, I think it was. So this course was, you did like 12 lessons and you and then the 13th lesson was you did a gig at the King's Head. And that was life-changing for me. That was really life-changing. That is why I am sat here opposite you today, because of Hugh Thomas, because of those 12 weeks, right? If I hadn't have done those, my life would have gone off in a completely different direction. That was life-changing. So I think you can learn the technical aspects of stand-up. I don't think you can necessarily learn how to be a great stand-up, but you can learn simple things like, setting up a gag, mic technique. You can learn those things. Can you learn?
But you can't learn timing, though, can you?
No.
You have to hear where the funny lands, doesn't it?
Maybe you can learn it not necessarily in a classroom, but by years of listening to comedy, listening to watching Monty Python, listening to whatever. Maybe learn is the word I'm having trouble with. Maybe that by devouring comedy, you can, I'm getting so lost. Maybe you could, I don't know, you can't learn it, but by devouring comedy, that can help you, I think, develop. There we go.
The 7-year-old Iain Lee did he hear the funny?
Yeah.
Did he have the beats? You see, this is generally the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you know where the beats are. Yeah. And I think that's the bit you can't teach, is where the funny lies.
Yeah.
If you can't say, okay, take 2 beats.
Yeah.
And it'll be funnier.
You got to feel it. One of you asked me what was funny. I'm reminded of, I really like comedy. There's a great comedy double act, Mr. Show, David Cross and Bob Odenkirk, and they would do sketches that I used to love, and I would love them because they would be funny. They would go on too long and they would stop being funny. They would carry on and they would become funny again. And I like that. That's timing. That takes bravery. I don't often sing my own praises, but I will. If anyone wants to know what I mean, Iain Lee, Do You Drive, right? And it's an old caller, a guy called Jeff. And the question I want to ask him is, do you drive too fast? But he won't let me get it out, because every time I go, Jeff, do you drive? He goes, yes, I do. And I go, Jeff, just hold that, because I want to do the full question. Jeff, do you drive? Yes, I do. I'm 82. And it is perhaps the favorite thing I've ever done, right? Because it starts off really funny. It goes on too long and it stops being funny, becomes irritating. But then it goes on even longer. So by the end, a lot of people, when they hear it, they've got tears coming down their face. And that's a brave thing to do on a local radio phone in, right? I was brave to do it. My producer, Catherine, at the time, most producers would have gone, Iain, can you move on from this? Yeah, giving you the cutting thing. And she didn't, because she knew where it was going. So yeah, I like things that go on for too long and go round the loop. That makes me laugh a lot.
Talking of things that go on for too long, you weren't expecting to be on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here for very long. but
no.
you ended up in
third
the
place.
final three. Yeah.
And I lost out to second place by 0.025% of the vote. Isn't that something?
Wow.
Yeah. Isn't that something?
But what did that teach you? I mean, because patience must be, because you don't like being, by your own admission, around people very much, but you signed up for something where you were in the face of everyone.
I don't like being around people. I don't like being around arseholes in a campsite either. But that unfortunately was how that played out. The jungle was nuts. I had been asked several times to do the jungle, and I'd always said, nope, don't want to do it, don't want to do it. Then I was getting divorced and I needed some money. So I got in touch with them and said, that offer, you've asked me 4 times. Is that offer still open? They went, oh, yes, but because you've come to us, we won't pay you as much as everyone else. And I did that because I did it for 3 reasons. I did it because I needed the money. I did it because I was doing a radio show that wasn't being promoted. So I wanted to go in front of 12 million people and say, I'm doing a radio show. And I did it because my boys were at an age where they must have been 6 and 8. They didn't know, they weren't really aware of my TV career. And they were at an age where I thought, I'm going to show off to my boys and show them what daddy used to do. So it was partly to impress them, and it worked. The jungle was tough. You're right. Suddenly I'm in a campsite with 11 other people, some of whom I found very obnoxious, some of whom were bullying, a couple of whom were delightful. Jenny McAlpine from Coronation Street, Shappy Korsandi, they made it all worthwhile. And boy, oh boy, you really had to hunt for the laughs there. It was fun. It was boring. A lot of it was boring because you sit around for a long time, days, doing nothing. Some of it is really demoralizing. When I failed, the first task I failed miserably because it was underwater and I can't do underwater. But there were great moments of laughter in that. You don't really see much of Ant and Dec. You don't really see them until you walk out and they are there and you're in the TV show. But Jesus, they made me laugh so much. I think those two are so funny. And to see them up close, to see them 3 feet away doing the shtick, oh my God. And I felt so proud. I really came away feeling I'd achieved something if I was able to make them laugh. And there were a few times when I had them bent over double laughing. And I thought, okay, all right, that's nice. Because I respect and admire them so much. I think they're so good. So you kind of feel a little bit, oh, I made 2 people that I really admire laugh. I'll take that, And there was a lot of laughter in the camp. It was kind of a lot of gallows humor because you're miserable and you're hungry, and you don't know what's going on outside. But we laughed a lot. We laughed a lot in there. So it was an experience. If anyone's ever offered the chance to do it, do it. It's life changing.
And what did it teach you in terms of counselling, though, moving forward? I mean, listening skills, I mean, were they not honed by doing that? Or was that already honed by having to listen for a living on the radio?
Listening skills, I'm not so sure. It taught me patience, because everything is so slow there. It taught me, what did it teach me? I don't know, to be honest, Paul. I mean, it changed my life. It completely changed my life. I tell you what it taught me. It was part of the journey towards realizing I am enough. Because I failed my first task, a lot of people hated me and would not let me do any other tasks. And there was one moment where there was a challenge. And I said, I would like to put myself forward for this challenge. And it kicked off. Jamie Lomas and Dennis Wise got really angry. We're not going to let you do it because you fail. You're the only person that failed a task. We're not going to let you do it. And it was tough for me to put myself forward. And I knew I was going to get rejected. And I said, okay, I hear what you're saying. I know I'm probably not going to get this task, but I would like to put myself forward for it. You're not going to, and it got really tense. And Dennis Wise is up shouting and giving me all of that. And that was a big step in realizing that I am enough, and I'm allowed to ask for what I want. And it was scary. It was intimidated by these 2 alphas. I'm not even a beta. I don't know what I am. I'm a Theta. But yeah, I learned that. That was part of the journey of learning I am enough and I am allowed to ask for what I want. So that was actually a big lesson. Yeah. That clip's on YouTube. It's horrible, really horrible.
So do you watch it back? Or I mean, you said it's on YouTube. I mean, is it something that you can relive? Because isn't it always really hard to watch yourself? I've done a lot of television over the years.
Yeah.
It's really hard to watch yourself on television.
I tend not to. I watched some of that back. I watched the trials because I wanted to see what they look like. I've not watched, and I've watched that bit actually with the argument. I've not watched much more. I've not watched all the trials actually. No, I've got the full DVD. They give you the box set on DVD, and yeah, they do. So I've got it up there. I haven't watched it all, and I've seen enough. Yeah, I don't like watching myself on TV. I get no pleasure from that. This was slightly different, but yeah, I've seen enough. I don't need to see any more of that.
So, but you just said that the only thing that would get you back into show business immediately was the call from Strictly. Yeah. So there is something still there that you go. Do you think it's? Well, I'll tell you a little story about what happened to me. I left show business and I went and trained similar to how you trained, but in sort of different disciplines in NLP and psychology. And as part of my training, I used to train doctors at Guy's, King's and St. Thomas's. And after 2 years of doing that, the BBC came calling and went, "Oh, you perform and you've done this training. Would you like to have your own primetime BBC 2 series called Speed Up, Slow Down?" And I said no.
Right. Oh, you said no to it?
Well, I said no 3 times, but obviously the third time. But literally, they didn't even make a pilot.
Right.
Just gave the series.
Incredible.
And it's kind of what happens is you go and you do something else, and then somebody else will come round and say, "Oh, actually, you're ready." And I think that's the interesting thing for people to know is go and try something else and you get yourself ready. And then all the other skill sets you had become relevant again.
What was it like? What did it feel like saying no?
Felt fantastic at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
Because?
It was, well, because I didn't need it.
Yeah.
And the fact that you didn't need it was already, I proved to myself that I got over that hump, if you see what I mean.
And that's the thing, because in this industry, you have to say yes all the time because you never know if you're going to get another offer. And for me, it's chasing. And so hearing you say no, it's like when I finished the radio show last week, I got a load of podcast offers. Yours was the first. And I said yes. And then a load of others came in and I went, I don't need to say yes to all of these. So I picked 3 that I liked for different reasons. And I've said yes to those. So I've got 3 more, but I've turned down the rest. And part of me thinks, well, maybe I should have turned down, I should have just done 2 instead of 4. I don't know. It's not within me to say no to work. And I'm having to learn to say no. And when I did say no to a few, I'll go and close my curtains in a minute because I'm becoming a silhouette. It's really freeing saying no to stuff. It's a really freeing thing, being able to turn down. I mean, you don't get paid as a guest for a podcast, do you, Paul? Should have asked first.
You'll be getting a handwritten letter and a book, and then taken out. And a hand. That's not that.
Okay.
Not that. Just so we're clear.
I don't want a hand. I am still learning to say no, but it for me is great being out of the chase of show business, being out of the chase. I walked away from my last radio job for loads of reasons. It wasn't working there, but I knew that would be my last radio show. I've never quit a job in my life. I've never quit. I've always gone on till the contract ends or they let you go, So I'm 50 this year, and it really feels like this is a significant year of change for me.
But isn't it all about seizing your own power at that point? And you go, actually, I'm not at the whim of everyone else. I can create my own stuff and I can do that.
I've been doing this thing this week, Paul. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's called Living. And it means I've not been getting up at 5:30 every morning to do a radio show that I don't believe in for a station that I don't think is really supporting me. It means, I got up this morning, get this, dear listener, I got up at 10:30 this morning and it felt great. And after this, I'm going to go off and I'm going to have a bit of lunch. I'm going to take a book with me and read. And then I'm going to come back and potter around. Then I'm doing a show online with my friend for the Patreon. I've been chasing more and more and more my whole life because that's what I was taught to do. And it's dawned on me, I don't need more and more. I need enough. I need enough. That is okay. And I can have enough financially, I guess is the key thing, by seeing a certain amount of clients a week, working 3 days a week. I can have enough and I can live on that and I can be comfortable and I can feed my kids and pay my mortgage. Boom. That's all I want now. That's all I want. I've had really, really, really well-paid jobs, like silly money. And most of it went up my nose. If I'm completely honest, I don't say that with a sense of pride. When I did a breakfast TV show, I was earning so much money, it all went up my nose, or on stuff that was unhealthy for me. So now earning enough is great. And I'm laughing, I'm walking around the house laughing because I haven't got the weight of that show business career on my shoulders. I've taken control. I want to be, for the next few years at least, I want to be a psychotherapist working in private practice. Okay, I've made that happen. That's happening. Let's see where it goes. And I strongly suspect, Paul, by the end of the year, I will be offered some TV and radio work because of this career move. I really believe it. And I will take each offer as it comes. I don't need to say yes straight away. How much does it pay? How long does it take? I will take each offer as it comes, if they come, and I will look at the merits. Right, money, how much time does it take? What do I get out of it? Would I find it satisfying? Would it satisfy me? It's got to tick a few of those boxes before I would say yes. Great position to be in.
Well, it's a great position to be in, but also you said the word, which I think is really important, is control.
Yeah.
You have control over the way you do it. And I always say that humor is a superpower, but so's control. Yeah. And controller over what you're doing is the ultimate, isn't it? You are not being led around by somebody else.
I feel I have to stress I'm in a very, very fortunate position where I've had a pretty successful career for 25 years, where I had enough money that I could sign up for a course, where, I've got a nice house. I mean, it was a big mortgage, it's not, I'm not loaded, but I'm aware that I'm in a really fortunate position that a lot of people are not in. A lot of people are doing jobs that they can't get out of at the moment because they are completely financially dependent on it. They don't have the time or money to sign up for a course. I'm aware of that. And you know what? I have really learned in the last couple of years to count that blessing, to not take it for granted, to be completely humbled by the fact I'm in this incredible position. I get on well with my boy's mum. We don't live together, but I get on well. I see my boys whenever I want. I have a few quid in the bank. I'm not loaded. I couldn't, go and book a flight to Barbados now, but I've got a little cushion that will keep me protected for a little while. So I'm in a really fortunate position. And I think that makes it easier to laugh. I think that makes it easier for me to laugh.
Well, it's Maslow, isn't it? It's the hierarchy of needs at that point.
Exactly. So there is a certain amount of safety around me. So I can't remember what we were talking. I keep going off on tangents.
I love it.
Bring it back.
Okay. Well, okay. I will go back to something I said in a minute. Is humor a superpower?
I think some people have it as a superpower. Like I said, being in the company of Gervais, you didn't even have to do anything and I would just piss myself. So I think some people have it so attuned that it is like a superpower. And I don't necessarily mean famous people. Hopefully people listening to this will all have at least one mate that is able to just have you creased over. I'm hoping most people have that. I think by saying it's a superpower, that implies that there is something magical and exclusive about it. I think it is possible within all of us. Sometimes I'm having a good day and I can make a lot of people laugh. No, let me take that back. The best audience for me is my kids or my partner. If I have them laughing, that's all that matters. 20 years ago, I'd need a whole TV studio to be laughing. I'd need, the audience of a radio show to be laughing. I don't need that now. If one of my kids is crying with laughter, that's the best gig. It's the best gig I could ever have.
We've reached the part of the show that we like to call quick fire questions.
Why do we call it that, Paul?
I have no idea, because I'm sure there's no such thing with you.
I'll do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to short answers.
No, I don't want short answers.
No, I'm enjoying this. I'm so glad I said yes to this.
Okay. Whatever comes out.
I will be quiet now. Quick fire questions.
Ian, we've reached the point in the show which we like to call quick fire questions.
Well, this is a surprise.
Quick fire questions.
And it will be. Who's the funniest business person that you've met? And obviously you've worked in show business, so it can be people in show business, or it can be anybody.
I thought these were quick fire questions. That question took a minute. I'll tell you the answer. It's Duncan Bannatyne.
Okay, now you tell me why, because I don't want quick fire questions anymore.
Well, I was lucky enough to interview Duncan a few times when I was at LBC, and we got on really, really well, and we ended up sort of being friends. We haven't spoken to each other for years, but and he always used to make me laugh. And I did a great phone-in competition once, Guess the Mystery Voice, right? And the clip was Duncan Bannatyne going, "I'm Duncan Bannatyne." And so it's him saying his name, and we had this wonderful old lady phone up and say, I don't know who it is. And I go, right, the answer's Duncan Bannatyne. I'll play it again. I'm Duncan Bannatyne. No, I've got no idea. Okay, one more. I'll give you a clue. It's Duncan Bannatyne. Let's hear the clip. I'm Duncan Bannatyne. I don't no idea, I'm afraid, Ian. So that, again, that's on YouTube. You want to go and look at that nonsense. But Duncan Bannatyne made me laugh a lot with that clip, and just with being a lovely human being. He's the funniest businessman I've ever met.
Oh, well, that's brilliant. What book makes you laugh?
Oh, that is a really good question. What book makes me laugh? Oh, I tell you what, the Danny Baker books. My mum is not very well. She's in a care home. And so I go over and I go and read. Which one are we reading? Off to Sea in a Sieve, I think. And we both just sit there and I read it to her, and we both just piss ourselves laughing. So I think there's 3, the Danny Baker books. Brilliant.
Brilliant. Was Danny Baker an early influence?
Yes.
on your radio?
Very, very much so. I used to listen to him on GLR back in the day. On a Saturday and Sunday, you'd have, I can't remember the order, but you'd have Danny Baker, Chris Evans when he was at his peak, and Chris Morris. Those 3 together, it was insane. And Danny Baker, I think, was the first ever radio show I phoned up when I was about 14 years old. He was a huge influence. I got interviewed for the Independent or something, who's my radio hero. And so I wrote this, I sent them all this info in about Danny Baker. And they wrote the piece, and they wrote it in a really clumsy kind of like sixth form way. But it was all basically, saying how much I love Danny. And I went to a show that night. Danny Baker was sat next to me. What are the chances? And I went, I was so embarrassed. I went, all right, Danny. He went, Ian, I saw that lovely thing you wrote about me today. It was brilliant. I said, oh, I'm so embarrassed. But he was a huge influence on me. I think he's a great broadcaster.
Oh, is that lovely when that kind of thing happens, though? I was once in a restaurant in Parsons Green, and I was sat there, and I was talking about how brilliant Julie Walters was.
Okay.
And I, as a comedy actress, and the 2 people sat opposite me were doing that face of like, oh God, just stop. And because I was going, she can do anything. So her comic timing is absolutely exquisite. And she was literally sat behind me in the restaurant.
Isn't that amazing?
And you just go, no idea about that.
Isn't that amazing? Did you speak to her?
Yeah, she was charming about it as well. By the way, I didn't say she's useless, isn't she? Okay, she was carried by Victoria Wood for all those years.
It's funny how those things happen sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, it's synchronicity. Is that what it's called?
I think that might be the word.
That's right. What film makes you laugh?
Oh, Happy Gilmore, the Adam Sandler film. Really lowbrow, really dumb, really stupid, just wonderful. I mean, there's a great line, maybe you want to bleep it, where he's up against this posh golfer, and this posh golfer goes, "You know what? I eat shit like you for breakfast." And he just goes, "Oh, you eat shit for breakfast?" And that film gets me every time. I think it's a joy.
I think it's a brilliant film, and it's one of those films that I can watch again and again. It's just, it's a lovely sort of nice, pleasant, warm, cuddly ambience to it, and you know where it's going.
Yeah,
that sort of thing. We're going to take a shift to the other side now, Iain.
Okay, the dark side.
The dark side.
Okay.
What's not funny?
I think everything is open game within certain contexts. I think everything is. What about cancer? I think cancer. You've got to tread carefully. I think cancer can be funny. I think that's one of the things that actually is a really good thing to laugh at, with the permission of those involved. I've had some pretty horrible things happen to me when I was a kid, but I've made jokes about them. That's okay. I think sometimes laughter about really dark things can be therapeutic. I think as long as it's not done in a mean way, as long as it's not done in a targeted way to cause offense or cause upset, I think everything is open game.
A friend of mine is just found out that he has bowel cancer.
Oh.
And it's treatable and things. So now, do we stop laughing with him? Do we take everything very, very seriously? Or do we kind of find a lightness in it, which can probably help alleviate some of the.
I think if he is, if a person who has cancer is open and prepared to laugh about it, I mean, I would probably be led by them slightly, want to go in cracking jokes, but everything is open for humour, everything.
Well, you've just said, I think, the most important words, and it's very interesting because obviously doing your counselling now, led by them.
Yeah.
Isn't that where humour comes from?
Yeah.
When we look in each other's eyes, do we go, can we play?
Yeah.
Are we up for this?
I think that's a really good point. Yeah. Can we play is a great way of looking at it.
What word makes you laugh?
I mean, I'm sorry, you'll have to bleep that. That word makes me laugh a lot because it's so naughty. It's still the one word that.
Yeah.
And wanker's got I like the K, the K sound. I think those. So wanker and is answer.
That's what I'm going to clip. Is just you going wanker and
completely take it out of context. Yes, those words make me laugh a lot.
Well, I mean, I have a theory. Well, it's not. It's the who wrote the Sunshine Boys, the very famous writer who wrote, and the K's are funny.
Yeah, I know exactly who you mean, and I cannot think of his name. Neil Simon.
Neil Simon. Yeah, and that K's are funny, and it becomes funnier because it's got the hard consonants in it.
Yeah. And I think I like swearing. I think swearing is fun. Like I say, when it's done on a radio show, when it's not meant to be, I love that. My boy, a few years ago, my boy said, "Oh, Mummy took us to the cinema." Oh yeah, what did you say? We saw this film. Did you like it? Yeah, it was good. It had the C word in it. I'm thinking, what? What is going on? I said, okay, I'll play it calm. Okay, just remind me what the C word is. Am I allowed to say it? Yes. Will I get in trouble? No. Okay. Crap. I thought, oh, thank God for that. Okay.
My son did the same thing. My son did the same thing, and we might lose a bit of this out of the edit. But do you remember Bob Mills?
Yes, of course. Brilliant Bob Mills. Yeah,
and also a great broadcaster as well. And Millsy was, I think, one of the top 3 compares of all time. We used to work with him all the time.
Yeah.
But we employed him to talk about really making people laugh. We employed him to do some voiceovers. I think it was for a project for Jongleurs, and we took him down to the studio, and everybody was very serious. And he walked in, and he just went to loosen everything up. He just went to the whole crew. He went, why's Noddy got a little bell on the top of his hat? And everybody went, I don't know. Why's Noddy got a little bell on the top of his hat? Because he's a cunt.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Just the timing on that. I still remember the whole crew just falling, and it changed the whole atmosphere. So we're not advocating the word kids.
No. But if you want to phone up a BBC local radio show and say it, you have my full backing.
What sound makes you laugh, Iain?
What sound makes me laugh? My cat's snoring. I was in bed the other night and I thought, fuck, someone's in the house. I can hear someone breathing. What is that? And it was just one of my cats snoring really, really loudly. So yeah, that makes me laugh a lot.
Yeah. Oh, that's lovely as well. It's given us a lovely...
You wanted me to say farts and I wasn't going to say it. I know what you wanted from me, Paul. Not your puppet.
Well, you see now, in the edit, you'll say farts because we've got it on tape.
Fell for that again.
You're a very bright bloke, and you're now a counsellor. And would you rather be considered clever or funny?
Oh, because now my low self-esteem is kicked in. I thought, well, I've never been considered either of those. Yeah, funny.
Yeah,
definitely.
Every time, yeah,
funny.
Yeah. By the way, I think it's the correct answer, because in order to be funny, I think you have to be clever.
Do you think so? I would disagree with that. I know some really thick people that are funny.
Name them.
No, I'm not going to name them now. I've said they're really thick. I think with intelligence, if that's what we're saying cleverness is, I think humor can go off in a slightly different way. No, I don't think you have to be clever to be funny. I would dispute that. I wouldn't fight you about it. I don't care about it that much, but I would dispute that. Listeners, send your answers on a postcard, please, to Paul, Humourology, England.
It'll get here. And finally, Iain,
thank God.
Desert Island. Bastard.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can edit around that.
Okay, go on.
And finally, Iain.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Desert Island gags. You can only take one joke with you to a desert island. What is it?
See, I'm not very good at gags. What is the one? Okay, this is okay. I'm not very good at telling gags, right? I'm not, but this one makes me laugh. So an old bloke goes to the doctor and says, I can't get an erection. And the doctor says, all right, well, you should get Viagra. And the old bloke says, can you get it over the counter? And he says, yes, if you take enough of them. I've not told it very well, but that is my favorite joke.
It is still brilliant, and you have been an absolutely superb, wonderful guest.
I've had so much fun. Sorry, I'll shut up. Let me shut up. You do your business, and then I'll.
No. I just love that you've been so brilliantly funny, so brilliantly honest, and so brilliantly real. So I've got 3 words that I'd like to say to you.
Fuck off now.
Fuck off now, and chowsy, chow, chow.
Yes, it's made it into a podcast. Paul, I have had such a gas. Thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure and an honor. And I've seen your esteemed previous guest list. So for you to consider me to be part of that, thank you. And I really appreciate your time.
Thank you. The Humourology Podcast was hosted by Paul Boross, produced by David Rose. Music by Steve Hayworth, creative direction by Les Hughes, and additional research by Helen Sykes. Please remember to subscribe, like, and leave a review wherever you get your podcasts. This has been a Big Sky production.